think we've all had enough of what it is, so let's try something different.
Here on the Epic Kate Show, I talk to all kinds of heart-centered people that are fed up with the status quo and want to see the world get better. It's all about authenticity, vulnerability, and compassion. If that resonates with you, I hope you'll stick around. In this podcast conversation, I'm talking to Jerad Finck, aka Blazar. He's a musician, he's the CEO of a company that is just tearing down the old system of taking advantage of artists, and it's empowering and supporting literally everyone on the team. I love his business model. This conversation, we talk about NFTs, about one of the very first, if not the first $1 million NFT sale. I love how he truly believes that everyone matters and it's possible to be successful in a business model that includes everyone's success. Hello and welcome to this podcast conversation of the Epic Kate Show.
What's the picture?
The picture?
Yeah.
The picture, a friend drew it for me. I can actually
bring it
down. I can bring it down. It's just blue tack. He's an artist. His channel's called Extempore Art, and I can put the link down in the description.
Yeah, no, that's cool. The nostrils of death. That's what I thought it said.
For people that can handle it, not all of the people that are on my show can handle it, but for my vlogs, because on this channel I do vlogs and conversations, and the way that I end my vlogs is I do this. Nostrils of death. And when he sent this to me, that was a happy day. I never had anybody paint such a flattering picture of me before.
No, I love it. We explore life over here. Yeah. Life explorers.
I love it. And it's just so nuts that you're actually from Spokane, where my mom is from.
Yeah, no, I've lived there a very long time. My family's from a town called Odessa, which is even smaller in the middle of Washington. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Spokane. We still have our house there. We have a place here in LA and we go back and forth, and that's kind of where we go when it gets a little crazy here. Like if we get locked down or something else, looks like it might be happening again. So
this is, as of the recording of this conversation, the 21st of July. I don't know when it will go up because I have a lot to edit.
Oh, right.
But yeah, my mom and dad went to Lewis and Clark High School.
I went to East Valley.
Oh, the competition. And you actually think you saw my grandma walk in the parade with her ribbons. That's so
well, I definitely remember absolutely, like the women with the tons of ribbons in the lilac parade that walked every year, for sure.
That was her pride and joy. I never imagined that there was anyone else that did that. I always thought that she was just the one beautifully odd duck, just wearing her ribbons by herself. So that's kind of fun. Yeah, I was watching.
Small world, that's for sure.
And here I am in Sweden talking to you about specific places in Washington.
We thought I was from Norway, so it's all, it makes sense.
So man, you have had just such a fascinating life with so much performing and with meeting so many epic people. And I was watching a little bit of this conversation with you and Scott Page, who I've also had on this channel. He's a wonderful guy to talk to.
The first thing I learned about Scott is that he literally knows everyone on earth. Like, it is crazy walking around with him anywhere. Everywhere we go, doesn't matter what city, state, where, it has no idea. It doesn't matter. Everyone knows Scott Page.
Oh man. So when Eileen and Jimmy Starr started their company, their PR company, they're just like, okay, Scott, give us your list. Boy, it's so neat to be a little kind of fly in the wall into this little community. It's not so little, obviously, but into this community that you have. Something that you talked about that really stuck out to me was the fact that you want to keep artists from being taken advantage of.
Yeah. No, I mean, I am an artist that's been taken advantage of by literally
everyone.
What happened to
you?
I mean, it's just, I come from the music industry, you know, I still am the artist Blazar. So like, that's kind of what I do, you know, for a living is I produce and I'm an artist and work with other artists. And so I understand the whole Predatorial System very, very well, having been in like terrible record deals myself or having managers, you know, be less than honest with me about percentages or booking. I mean, the whole business is that, right? I mean, that's what the whole thing is kind of been built on. And so I totally get it. And it's amazing how like every artist I talk to has the same story. Like this isn't a unique thing for me. This is kind of, if you haven't been screwed in the art industry, then I think you're unique at this point, because that's just, it feels like it's built on that. And that's what was so cool about, you know, how we structured Cosmic Wired and just this NFT space and everything that's going on, is that we're just empowering content creators again, because that's the thing that I think got lost somewhere along the way was that, you know, none of this stuff works without us, right? I mean, all these people that are taking from us and kind of being lecherous with us, like they need us. And so we're just flipping the script, and that's what this whole company is about. And it's really been embraced by the community, you know, because I think everyone is really tired of it. It's been going on since as long as I've been doing it, it's been going on. So, and much longer than me. So
It's so interesting coming into this world because, like, as a person that's on the small end of being a YouTuber, you know, I'm still under 1,000 subscribers, and it's like, okay, you can do it all by yourself, but you don't know how to get out there. You don't know how to find your audience, and it's really frustrating. And then there's people who are waiting to be discovered, you know, waiting to get the manager, get a viral video, have something to push them out there. And I was talking to John Velasco. Have you met him?
yeah, no, I know who he is. I haven't met him, no, but yeah.
He was
I work with Soho Johnny quite a bit. So
yeah. I had him on my channel too. I talked to so many people.
It's all in the family. Here we go.
And yeah, he was really, really passionate about the same thing as you too, like wanting to keep people from making those mistakes. Like, don't sell your work. Like, don't give away your assets. Like, fight for your rights. Fight for maintaining authority and to be able to make a living off of what you've done. Sorry, that was a bunch of rambled, incoherent thoughts.
No, I think that's it though. I mean, we're all kind of saying the same thing, you know. And he definitely gets it too. Like he came out of the record industry, and Soho Johnny definitely gets it. I mean, everyone that's been doing this gets it. It doesn't matter how big or small. And the problem is exactly what you just said. Like artists, you know, they're trying to be discovered, or they're like waiting to be found in the garage, you know, as a band or something. And that world's gone. Like I don't know if that world ever existed actually, but it definitely doesn't exist now. And the only way to make things happen is literally to make them happen. Like you've got to market it and produce it and put it out there and monetize it and learn how to do that. And it is like, it's overwhelming when you're just starting. You know, there's a million people selling success programs and books, and this is how you do it. And then there's like millions of firms that will come and take your money and say it's the whole thing is just a giant rat trap to take your money. So it's hard to navigate for sure. And you know, that's part of what I think this whole thing's about, you know, is like that there is a better way, there is a real way, there's a very like earnest way. And it's not much different than I think it was at the start, where, you know, people were carrying around flyers for their shows and passing them out one by one, you know, or putting them on car windows, you know, back in the day. Like now it's just the same thing. It's just guerrilla marketing, but just on a global level, right? And it's just connecting with people one at a time. And that's kind of what we teach, you know, that really matters. And it was one of the first things that I ever learned, you know, when I went out on my first major tour. It was just connecting with people and getting those one-to-one relationships. And that's how you do it. Yeah,
it's all about community. It's all about, I don't know the answer, but I know someone who does, or they know someone who does. And it's just so beautiful when a vision can come together. It was really cool what you were saying in this conversation. I can link that too if anyone wants to watch it, because I'm not so much interested in the details of NFTs. I'm more interested in like the emotional aspect, you know, the passion, the fire.
Yeah.
But the thing about people are incentivized to work because if the project does well, everyone gets paid. And it's not just the top 1%, the CEOs, the people making money, and it just kind of trickling down somehow, not really, to everyone else behind the scenes?
No, I mean that's how we built Cosmic Wire. I guess how I built Cosmic Wire from the ground up is that it's reverse, right? It's like everyone is incentivized by the project they're working on. No one gets paid up front. It's all on this kind of back end royalty system. So when the artist makes money, that's when their team makes money. And even that on the company side, like I'm the CEO of Cosmic Wire, and I'm the last person in the food chain. You know, I wanted to make sure all the people got taken care of, and the company eats, and then it comes down because, you know, like I said, I've been in this for a minute. It's all of those people that make this thing work, you know, and usually there's just this suit at top kind of like showing his private jet and claiming credit for things, but he has nothing to do with any of this stuff. And I understand that very well. So I really wanted this to be a place that not only like promotes the creator or the artist, but also like promotes and the people who are working and doing the specific tasks, because without any of those pieces, none of the stuff works anyway. So the whole thing is upside down, you know, compared to every other kind of company out there. And I think that's why we're doing so well. You know, it's like it's a very non-adversarial relationship. You know, like when you start moving up into the world of entertainment, the lawyers, you know, end up being kind of the worst thing on earth, because they're on your side, but they're really not. You know, that you're paying them to go negotiate against other people that are negotiating, and they just kind of do stuff because they're making money, right? It's like really has nothing to do with the artists at the end of the day. And it's the same thing with management and publishing and all these kind of companies that start getting outside of the realm where they're just taking fees based on service. And we just really wanted to get away from that, where the service would just be the success of the project, and then we can all share and eat together. It puts everyone on the same side of the table. You know, is how we say.
Oh my goodness, I could hug you. That is the coolest thing ever. Of a person that is a CEO at the bottom of the food train. It's like the first shall be last. It's just so mwah, perfect.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, it's really powerful. It really does change the dynamic of the whole, you know, infrastructure. Everyone kind of feels differently. It feels like everyone feels like they're part of something. You know, it's like we're all kind of waving the same flag. You know, it's just a different thing.
Nice. So I'm hoping that you will be willing to share this video amongst your sphere of influence.
Of course. Yeah.
So I would like to put a little plug of something that I would love to offer to people who may be watching this from your world, that I'm an editor, and I would love to help people connect with their target audience through editing their videos, through walking them through the vlogging process if they have no clue about it, or whatever, like being a coach along the journey. Because what I do in editing is I like to make people's personalities shine. And the moments that people would leave out, you know, the mistakes, the interruptions, whatever,
right.
Those are the moments that deserve to shine, because they show people who you really are. And they show moments of authenticity that help connect people, you know, like, trust process, help you to know and like and trust you, to want to work with you, and when they feel a connection. So yeah, you can contact me and we can see if I can be a good fit to
yes.
edit for you.
Oh, we should, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll share it around for sure. Just send me links and I'll pass it around.
Thanks. That means a lot. Let me look at my notes, see if I have some good thought. Well, my brain is kind of spinning right now. I noticed in some of your posts, you say like a hello earthlings and greeting, or is that the right greetings earthlings?
Yeah.
What's your inspiration for that?
Well, because I'm an alien, and Jerad Finck has been my other identity, and I decided to just kind of come out and tell everyone that I'm here. So Blazar he is an alien. He's from Markarian 421, and he's making sonic beats to enlighten the human race and come down and hang out with some mammals. So
that's very fun. Do you have a whole costume and persona when you perform?
Oh, this is my costume. This is my man suit. So
yeah. This is your man suit, right? Your flesh outfit. Yeah.
My flesh, yeah.
Where did you come up with Blazar and the planet name and stuff?
I mean, part of it was just that, you know, I've been Jerad Finck on some other labels, and there was some weird stuff that went on with like the titling and some of my masters, and that's a whole nother conversation. So it just turned, you know, when I signed this new deal with Anti-Fragile, it just made it it made sense to rebrand, and kind of just start over. And plus it's a different thing. Like that whole character Jerad was very kind of like Americana and Tom Petty, and this guy's Blazar is very much kind of like The Cure meets EDM, kind of this dark alt pop thing that it's doing, and it's all about collaboration too. And so I wanted it to not be so like focused on me, because every song's with like different other people or other artists or other EDM people or conglomerates or groups of us. It's just like an entity that puts out music, and that's kind of been the whole push with it, not so much about Jerad, so I wanted it to be a different thing.
Have you met and or worked with Dantes?
I have not.
Oh, he's also an EDM in that genre musician, or they are non-binary, but they said that they don't care. He, she, they, doesn't matter. But oh man,
good.
That was a beautiful conversation. Like,
no, I'd love to meet them or him or her, whatever they would like to be called.
Whatever pronoun that they feel like such a honest, genuine, just like sometimes these conversations get like 40 views. I don't know. For some reason, our conversation got over 1,000. I was like, what is this? This is so bizarre. But I think it just really resonated with so many other people. How much sincerity there was there.
And I mean, it is like, that's kind of what's going on right now, right? It's like this, it does feel like this weird kind of societal shift or paradigm shift or, awakening or whatever you want to call it. But it does feel like some of us are realizing this and some of us are not. And this conversation is happening. It's bigger than any one thing, but there's just this kind of like awakening going on. And I love that people are catching on to it. So it's really important.
I was talking about that with Scott, and that conversation sparked this whole interest in me to really do that thing of the listening to my thoughts. Am I awake? Am I living in the past or the future, or am I right now? And
observing the observer. Right?
Exactly. I hadn't ever heard of that whole concept before, but then I just started doing some research and talking to other people about it. And it's so beautiful. It's like the best days in the entire world are the days where time doesn't matter, right? It's just, oh, is it already this time? Who cares? It's like days at the beach. We were at the beach with some family the other day, and it was just like, it did not matter. And I get all tied up in stress and time and what my to-do list, but I'm just like learning, okay, this is not really that important. I'm just wanting to feel important.
No, 100%.
It's like the people stuck in this whole like capitalistic machine of I have to produce so that I can be worth something, so that I can earn a break or whatever.
Yeah. The whole like merit-based existence on what you have is that's the stuff that I think is really changing a lot, because there's something bigger. And I don't know what the pandemic did, but it definitely accelerated this thing. Like as we all kind of went home and we found new ways to connect, and there's always like new things that are happening now, this kind of like emergent thing that's coming out of all of us connecting in this new way. And it's really cool and exciting to be a part of. So
yeah. Well, it's like you're the CEO that doesn't have to make 5, 10, 20 times more than everyone else. It's like, because you're realizing, hey, maybe it isn't money, an exorbitant amount of money that's going to make me happy. Maybe it's like connection. Maybe it's raising up the other person beside me so that we can be on equal footing and they can get the chance to shine that they deserve. And
yeah, there's this whole idea, like we can all, I just, when I first started the company, I had this like little sign, and it was just like, we can all be in the entertainment business without screwing each other. It's this whole new mantra of just like, it's possible, and it's not even so much about not making enough money for me. It's the fact that everyone can make lots of money. Like there's lots to go around here, and it's just been so bogarted and split wrong. It's just, everyone can share in this, and everyone can succeed, and everyone can kind of build their life the way that they want to do. And, everyone matters in these things, like I think people get lost. They don't realize like even something like The Weeknd or Like there's this massive infrastructure behind these people, and they don't get a whole lot of credit, right? But it's a massive team of people that make these things happen, and there's a focal point, and that focal point is kind of where everything gets all the attention. But I'm just trying to appreciate the people that make those things happen, and it's been a powerful model for sure.
It's like how Keanu Reeves gave a whole bunch of his money from the Matrix movies to the CGI people and those ones that made him look so good.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear, what does Ruby Measure mean to you?
Ruby has been, I mean, Ruby came out of nowhere, honestly. Like it was the whole thing was strange. He had a contract with another company, and they had blown his release date for whatever reason, or they didn't make the date. I don't remember the exact details, but he had this exhibit coming up, and it was like 15 days away. And he called and we talked. He's like, can we make this happen in 15 days? So we literally called the campaign 15 days because it was like we had to make the NFTs, get out all the promo, do the press, build the store, get these things manufactured, fly all this stuff from Nashville to Maui. I mean, it was insane. And we got it like there the day before. And the only reason half of the stuff arrived is because like my flight, for some reason, they wouldn't let me on the plane because I had the wrong COVID test. So I had to go get another COVID test. And like one of the boxes that FedEx had lost, like showed up at my apartment. So I like drove home and grabbed all that and then flew on a later flight the day of the exhibit thing. It was madness. But, in all of that, I was so caught up in the work that I didn't really get to know him until I got to spend time with him at the exhibit. And I hadn't heard like the story about, his cancer struggle and all of these things. He dropped that bomb on me during the live video that we put up. And it was just, a year ago, he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He had a brain tumor and was given 6 months to live. And so this whole thing that he was doing was kind of in his mind, his last hurrah, because he drew the original mouth and tongue for the Rolling Stones Tumbling Dice record sleeve. Like it's a pretty iconic thing. And he's been doing that for 50 years now, obviously doing all these kind of derivative works and things. And this was like the end for him. And I didn't know any of this, but after he told me that story and I kind of like really started diving into like who and what he was, like he's ended up being one of the most profound people I think I've ever met in my life. Like he's really inspiring. He's just, he is the story of the, the frog that's in the bird's mouth with his hand on the neck of the bird, like never give up, that meme that we've all seen. Because he doesn't. I mean, his whole, even with cancer, he's like, he says that he like went and he meditated and did all these things, but the truth is he just decided that he wasn't going to let it run his life, and he was going to do all these things and kind of just see how it goes, because he is 72, and there's this whole other side, I think, to treatment and things like that when you get around that age that he was contemplating. It was just the way that he held himself up and moved on, and it's what he's been doing the whole time. And he changed my life overnight, honestly. Like we talk every day now. He's probably one of my best friends on the planet. He calls and yells at me every morning to wake up because he's like a maniac that gets up at 4 a.m. every day. But he's just I don't know, like I haven't really met a lot of people like him. I mean, his story is just incredible. The rises and the falls, or the crests and the troughs, whatever you want to call them. It's insanely dynamic. He's had an experience that few humans ever have, with people. I mean, he's worked with everybody, in the music industry that's anybody on a super high level. I mean, even like our campaigns, like I'm talking to like all these just insane people. Marquia Ramon's tweeting me, and I'm like, how am I talking to Marquia Ramon right now? Or there's all these like influential people that he's friends with, and it was just a really cool experience. And they're all the same thing. Like they just want to support Ruby. It's like because they know the story. And when you know the story of Ruby, it is one of the most inspiring things I've ever heard. And that's when our whole kind of vantage point changed, where it was, originally it was just this kind of like exhibit that we were going to do, which was exciting in of itself because it was the first NFT exhibit in Hawaiian history. So there was like that cool historical part. And then like we sold the first one for 1.1 million, which is now the 12th highest selling NFT in NFT history, which I mean, right now, next week it'll probably be whatever, but it was all super exciting. And then now it's mutated into this kind of like overarching year-long campaign that we're going to drive towards, cancer research and his story and survival and reaching out to victims and like giving these paintings away to different organizations and kind of, he ended up trademarking all that kind of stuff. And we're going to just run this massive campaign to make a difference. And for him, it was like, we've all been in this crazy pandemic for a year and a half, and now it's time to inject something not so shitty, like we can come together in a different way and do something positive and meaningful. And it doesn't have to be so polarized and awful, because we've had 4 years of polarized and awful. And now it's time to do something different. So that's just, the brief version of what's, I guess, going on with Ruby. But no, he changed my life. Absolutely. And it's been really cool to get to know him.
That's so neat. I imagine that he must be friends with Leland Sklar as well.
Ruby knows everyone on earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
when you talked about
Leland was a strong proponent. Like, he jumped right on the campaign and started helping. Like, he's speaking at Ruby's auction, because now we're going to do a whole bunch of these right throughout the year, with these kind of drops that we're going to give away to the Let Me Help Foundation, which is, as you know, Soho Johnny's thing, for cancer research and treatment. And Leland definitely jumped on board because he's had it. I've had it in my family. I even had some stuff going on with myself with that, a few years ago. So it's like, it touches everyone in every capacity. And like, we've all kind of like been around it in one shape or another, friends or family or what have you. But
yeah, everybody.
It's a big deal.
My grandma, breast cancer, 1980, 6 years before I was born.
Oh no. Well,
my dad was just
sorry.
a kid. So I remember my whole life, like every now and then, my dad just missing his mom, just crying, and my mom just comforting him, and it's like, yes, F cancer.
No, it's awful, right? And it's everywhere. So his story was really powerful, for sure.
So that
and just kind of makes all this other stuff not mean so much, like the stressors every day. You're like, what would Ruby do? Well, Ruby wouldn't be doing that. So, it's just interesting.
Wouldn't be wasting time about this really minuscule thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So all those things really inspired you and came together to make your company exactly what you wanted it to be, not exactly what it needed to be for the artists.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been really socially driven. Before I got my record deal, I was in med school and I was finishing up, my doctorate stuff, and I was practicing shrink. I worked for Medicare and Medicaid because I was in Washington and Idaho, and really focused on, social work and helping those kinds of people. And the record deal for me just kind of gave me a larger soapbox to try and do that. And now this company is an extension of all of that, because I've kind of melded all of those things together. And that's kind of what Cosmic is, like we're all coming together in this like community, this conglomerate that we are now. It's grown so fast that I can't even really understand what's going on, but we're just kind of riding the wave right now. And it's cool. Like everyone's very, very like-minded. Everyone wants to kind of do the same thing. It's a very cool part of my life where I only have to work with people I want to now. It's like that's a good milestone when you can say no to people that don't really fit the vision.
Yeah.
And because of that, like, we became very nimble and kind of pointed and focalized, but also like big, because of just the people who are here. And they're all just massive, musicians and influencers and celebrities and shows, and podcasts and movies and brands. It's just, we have companies and communities. It's really crazy what this has turned into, but it's all on the same premise. It's like we all can kind of work together and make these things successful in this emergent property model, not screw each other, and have this cause and do something. I mean, that, and the cancer thing's one. We're also like really focused on like on the green, aspect of this whole crypto space, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to get out of fiat currency and go into digital when we're like doing more pollution. So there's like some stats where like Bitcoin output is roughly equal to that of Switzerland, and that's just one. So like we're investing in green server farms and all these kinds of things to try and like offset our carbon footprint, and make this a different model. Like we want to make all of this stuff kind of work, do good, and everyone can be successful too at the same time.
You must, is it la, la, la. Do you have a lot of artists coming to you saying, hey, we want to work with you, and you're just like kind of seeing, okay, are you a good fit for us, kind of a process of vetting process?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, at the start, we were kind of like just picking people out that we thought would be a good fit, and then it's just erupted. I mean, I can't even, the amount of impact that we've had in the last like even 3 weeks is just, it's crazy. And so yeah, constantly it's just hundreds and hundreds of emails and labels and managers and people throwing stuff at us. And yeah, it's changed the dynamic entirely. Like it's a whole different world that we're going into, and we're just massive IPs that we were acquiring that have came in that we've like purchased now, and seeing these insane valuations of the company, and having like all those VC companies come and come after us. It's a weird shift that's happening in real time. It's kind of like watching Silicon Valley a little bit. I feel a little bit like Pied Piper right now, but I mean,
it's like just waiting, checking the time, waiting for Zuckerberg to call and offer to buy you out.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had like several kind of like buyout things already, and it's just like that's just kind of the antithesis of I think what we're trying to build here. It's like like we're not a public company. Like I built this, I own this. We don't need to go do that. We've bootstrapped it, and it's been funded, and now we're profitable. And we're off to the races, and it's crazy.
I read a book by one of the co-founders of Twitter about how when they were still really pretty small, but on the radar, Zuckerberg tried to buy them out, and this guy Biz Stone just came up with a ridiculous number, like 500 million. It was like a ridiculous number, and Zuckerberg's like, that's a lot of money. And like you said, you wanted a yes or no question, and by this joke, he actually offered them that number like a week later, combining stocks and cash and stuff together. And that joke raised the value of the company.
No, it's real. Like the valuation of things, it definitely, even our world, when we've acquired some like pretty massive intellectual properties over the last couple of months, because we did partner up with a capital company who's been amazing, and they're not predatorial, like they're in business with us. It's a very crazy relationship that we were able to finagle with them, and it's been really good. And because they too believe in the vision, right? I mean, that's the thing, is like getting like-minded people to kind of do the same thing. So it's crazy, but we're just doing it. So
I just am learning about this now, and it just makes me so excited. Any kind of talk about revolution, about changing the direction, taking the power out of this and putting it there, like, it's to be able to witness the world changing and becoming better is just, there's just nothing like it.
That's the whole point, right? I think we've all had enough of what it is, so let's try something different.
Or I guess I should ask you, is there a question that I should ask you? Is there something that you would that you really are passionate to talk about?
For us, it's just we want like-minded people. So if you're out there and you're a promoter, you're a marketer, you're a 3D renderer, you're a musician, artist, whatever, like reach out to us. Like we are growing fast, and we're looking for the right people, and if you feel like you are the right kind of person, like that's what we're trying to build right now, is this community. And it's really powerful. It's really exciting. And that's what we're doing.
But like, is there like some kind of pre-standards, like say me, I'm a YouTuber with 810 subscribers, like would a relationship between us be possible, or are you looking for people that have a little bit more established, bigger numbers kind of?
No, I mean, we're open to all levels. We have people that we've built from the ground up. We have influencers that we're starting with right now that are from zero, just because we believe in who those people are, right? We have some that have millions of followers. Like I don't really care as much about like the the value, the current value. I care about like what I see that we can turn it into, because the whole thing is about that, right? So we don't really care, if you're the right person, it's the right kind of thing, and it fits like the messaging, then yeah, it's absolutely something we can work with.
That's so cool. Yes, I will send in my formal application after we're done talking here.
Yay!
I don't have an. I'll send you a hi. Remember?
Hi.
Well, it's really, really cool to talk to you. I really appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, I will put any links and anything you want me to include down in the description of how people can get into contact with you, more of how they can research more about what's the company's name again?
Cosmic Wire.
Cosmic Wire, yes. So people can kind of just learn more about what it is, and I'll include all that information.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
This was fun. Thanks for, I know I can come across a bit strong and excited sometimes.
No, you're great. I love it. It's good energy. Like that's what this is supposed to be. So
Yeah.
I come across sedated because I've only had like 7 cups of coffee. I wake up around 14. So,
Yeah. After Ruby wakes you up at 4 a.m, you need a little bit extra.
Yeah.
So the way that I end my conversations is I give hugs.
Yay.
Digital hugs. You don't have to hug me if you don't want to. But
Digital hug. Yay.
And then, as you saw in my beautiful poster from Extempore Art, Chris, I do the nostrils of death. Would you care to join me in the nostrils of death?
Okay.
It's like this. You start back, and then you flare the nostrils, and then you say nostrils of death as you go towards the webcam.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Nostrils of death.
Nostrils of death. Love it.
Thank you so much. I hope that we can talk again another time.
Yeah, me too. That was great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye. If you're still here, please give this video a like. Please share your thoughts down in the comments about this business model. If you think you know someone that would resonate with him, I hope you'll check out his links. And now I want to give you hugs. Hugs! Bye!